live and direct. Welcome all.
You're listening to Newsday from the BBC World Service with Rob and Priya. Here's a reminder of some of our main stories today. The US Senate has voted in favour of a compromise funding to end a government shutdown. Meanwhile, the US says Syria is joining the global coalition to defeat Islamic State jihadists and is resuming diplomatic relations with Washington as talks at the White House between Donald Trump and the Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara. And India's security forces have put the capital Delhi on high alert after an explosion near the historic Red Fort killed at least 8 people. First-hand transport now with Zara. Good morning again. We start off with strong words of the Ferrari chairman, John Ackman, who says the company's Formula One drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, need to focus on driving and talk less. Alcon's comments come on the back of the San Paulo Grand Prix, in which Ferrari suffered a double retirement, and Hamilton described his first season with the team as a nightmare. Ferrari dropped to fourth in the constructors as a Grand Prix remaining, Las Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. For now, McLaren's Lando Norris leads by 24 points. And the International Olympic Committee has moved a step closer to introducing a blanket ban on transgender women from female categories across all sports. IOC President Kirsty Coventry voted to bring in the policy as part of her election campaign, but sources have told BBC Sport that a ban is likely to be introduced in 2026. Sir, I'll speak to you again in the next half an hour. Thank you.
Well, let's cross to Singapore now and speak to our business presenter, Nick Marsh. Nick, you've been following this unusual case of a Chinese crypto fraudster due to be sentenced to prison in Britain. Tell us about it.
Unusual is a good word for it, I think, Rob. Yeah, this is Ji Min Tian that we're talking about. She managed to persuade more than 100,000 people in China to invest their money into what they thought was a Bitcoin mining fund. It was like a get-rich-quick kind of scheme. It ended up being a scam. She ended up collecting $5 billion worth of ordinary people's money, actually, before the Chinese authorities started investigating her. But instead of her giving the money back, she basically did a runner with all the Bitcoin that she'd bought, and she fled to the UK back in 2017. This was before Bitcoin actually shot up in value. She moved into a flat, Rob, above a Chinese takeaway in Leeds, and she managed to persuade one of the workers there to join her in her criminal enterprise. So she has all this Bitcoin, all this money, but she has to launder it somehow, basically. So when the Chinese takeaway workers started flying to Dubai, sending her son to private school, buying expensive jewelry, and when Jimin Chan started herself buying multi-million pound properties in Hampstead and Totteridge, very affluent areas of London, that's when the alarm bells started to ring for the British police, and that's when their investigations began. And this week she is due to be sentenced after, as you correctly say, was the largest cryptocurrency haul in British history.
Will the victims get any of their money back?
According to British law, the proceeds of crime naturally would default to the government. Because the vast majority of her victims are in China, it becomes a bit of a tricky issue. I know the Chinese Foreign Ministry has spoken to the British authorities about trying to recover this money. It has really ruined lives. People taking out loans, people not being able to afford medical treatment. This is really torn a lot of people's lives apart. The British authorities so far haven't publicly commented as to what they want to do, but it's understood that they are exploring ways to try and get this money back to the victims. But proving that, showing how much exactly you invested into the company across two different continents,
Morning, sir.
that's going to be quite tricky. But it does
How are you,
mean
sir?
that some victims will at least get
Okay.
some of their money back.
So today we are here.
Thank you.
Now, governor of Western Russian region
Very
troops
good.
damaged civilian infrastructure overnight. That is what the Reuters news agency is reporting. In recent days, Russia has launched a wave of attacks on energy infrastructure and residential buildings in MSF is currently on the front lines responding to injuries and also supporting the Ukrainian Ministry of Health. We can speak now to the MSF's Secretary General, Chris Lockyer, who's in Dnipro. Joining us on the programme. Describe to us the impacts of drone attacks that you've seen where you are in Dnipro.